Hi, we're back in the Midwest again for another episode of May the eSports Be With You. Hi, this is Jonathan Yates with the Culture of Sports, and we're with Trine University with the athletic director, Coach Matt Land. Coach, thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
No problem. We're excited.
So I think everybody wants to know, how did you bring eSports to Trine University?
Well, it was a conversation that we had for a while, and then we started looking into it, and we were excited to do it. It gave us a unique opportunity to add a different demographic of student to our school, and we like to find ways, and just different ways to attract kids to Trine University because we think we have a great story to tell, and this just adds to our story.
Well, this is certainly a beautiful facility here. So how many eSports students do you have now?
This is our second year, and we have 80 kids participating in our eSports program. It's our third largest program in the athletic department.
And so what's it like recruiting a student athlete for an eSport program?
You know, the natural fit for eSports was athletics and the way that we wanted to do it. This is our 32nd team in our athletic department, and we really recruited the exact same way we recruit an athletic team. We are going out and we are finding kids that, number one, fit Trine University, and number two, want to compete at a high level, and we're able to do it.
Let's focus on that for a second. What is a student athlete like at Trine University that provides that fit you're looking for?
Well, you've got to have a commitment to excellence. I mean, you've walked around our campus.
It's beautiful.
I mean,
this is a beautiful facility, one of the best I've ever seen for D3, that's for sure.
We have expectations, and we want to be great at everything that we do, and we want a kid that wants to be great at everything that they're working with, whether it's academically or athletically or within esports in our club programs.
So when an esport recruit comes to this beautiful facility and sees this fantastic game room down here, do they just realize that, hey, Coach Land is taking this seriously?
Well, I think the best thing you said, now we take this seriously. This is a big time venture. We've invested a huge number of dollars into this program. We are supporting them just like any other team in our athletic department, and it's a varsity esports program that is expected to compete and do great things.
And how has the college community here at Trine University accepted the esports program?
It's just like any other program. I mean, I can't tell you enough how fun it is for me. We're in our brand new basketball. We just built a 79,000 square foot basketball arena that's out of this world to support our athletic department
It's
and
beautiful.
And our basketball programs. But it shows the kids how vested we are into this esports program. Our other athletes walk into this room and say, all right, yeah, they're legit. But even that, we have athletes that are on our esports teams. So it's just a part of a fabric of our athletic department now.
Do you have what I call the digital Deion Sanders, where you have somebody who plays a traditional sport like football and basketball, but is also an esport athlete? Great
Question, and yes, but he is not Deion Sanders-esque. He's 6'4", 260-pound thrower from our track team.
That's interesting because I was interviewing Mike Snyder, the athletic director at Illinois College, about his esports program, and their digital Deion Sanders is an offensive lineman on the football team. So it would seem to me that would be a huge recruiting edge for a school like Trine University to be able to say, you can come here, you got about a 1% chance of making the NFL if you play college football, which is the same at Trine University as it is at Texas
Sure.
or Alabama or something like that. But if you come here and play football and also do esports with us, you're going to have a much better chance of being a professional esport athlete for the rest of your life. And by the way, check YouTube. You'll see the top esports guys are making $30 million a year too.
We don't really look at it that way. We recruit the Trine University experience. We recruit our job placement rate. We have a 99.3% average for our graduates to have a job within 6 months of graduation. So if you come to our school, you're going to get a powerful degree, and you are going to be a professional at whatever you want because we get jobs if you come here.
Now, in terms of that degree with the majors, do you notice the esports students sort of having the same majors as a typical student athlete or a typical student here?
Typical student athlete. We have everything: business, education,
and the esports students are all over.
Yep.
And how are their grades holding up?
Actually, academically, we are doing very well. We use the same compliance system as our NCAA kids with all 32 teams in our athletic department, so they're held to the same standard as everyone.
Now, in terms of the ultimate compliment, are you having athletic directors from Power 5 schools and other D1 schools calling you up and saying, why don't you tell me a little bit about this esports? How's it work, and how's it working for you?
I spend an inordinate amount of time talking about esports, getting phone calls about esports, giving tours of our esports facility.
Doing esport interviews?
I bet you we do 3 or 4 a week. and a phone call or a tour or something. You're looking at, 10 of them. I think we did 10 of them last month. So it's huge. You got to remember, in 2014, there was one varsity esports program. In 2018, there will be about 125.
So to bring up sort of a baseball vernacular, what inning do you see esports in as a varsity sport?
Pitch 4.
Pitch 4?
Yeah, pitch 4. I'm telling you, this is going to be the biggest, most exciting and growth opportunity for any school.
So what took you into college sports administration? You came up kind of a traditional route through football.
Yeah, I was the head football coach here for 9 years. Athletic director left, and I was given the opportunity to be the athletic director, and I wasn't ready to finish or stop coaching, so I was the athletic director and head football coach. We had to build a softball stadium, tennis courts, this building, and a hockey arena, and the president said, all right, after 3 years, it's time, I need you to pick one. Doesn't matter to me which one. But with kids going into middle school and high school, it was a good time for me to step back. And
sure.
I've coached everybody else's kids for 25 years. It's going to be an opportunity to, invest in my kids. And, I have 5 years left and they're out. So it was a good time to become the athletic director here and really work on these major projects. And it's really going to be, or set the stage for the future of our athletic department and our school, quite frankly.
Well, looking at the rankings, you certainly left the football program, very highly rated this year.
Football's doing great. We're undefeated right now, ranked number 15 in the country, coming off a Sweet 16 appearance. Our women's basketball team went to the Sweet 16 last year. We got a lot of great things going on. Our softball team is regularly in the NCAA tournament. Even esports-wise, last year was our first year. We got second in the country in Hearthstone and third in the country in Overwatch and NACE. So we have some great things going on in our esports program as well in year one. So
do you notice that you have more and more students coming to you and asking you, how do I go into college sports administration like you did?
Well, I get that question a lot, but like I did is probably not the route that they want to go. You got to win a lot of football games and get lucky and have a great president that supports everything that you do. And
what could go wrong with that formula? Isn't that easy?
Yeah, that's right.
Why?
But we do I talk about it. We have a great sports management program here, and a lot of our kids are in that program, and we use for the other various events we have on campus. But I get those conversations a lot.
Well, you've had so many successful women's sports programs here too. Do you notice more and more female athletes coming to you and saying, how do I pursue a career in college sports administration?
We encourage it. I have 2 personal interns. One's a male and one's a female that I use throughout the year, and I can't wait for females to come in and talk to me about it, because it's such an advantage for us to have the kind of students that we have, but also some really, really talented females that are athletes that are going to help carry the torch forward in our athletic department and athletic departments nationwide.
So what sort of questions did they ask you about, how do I become an athletic director?
That's the first question, and my advice is
practice.
Go to school for, get a sport management degree, get a business degree, get a law degree, go get some experiences, coach. I encourage them to coach. I think one of the things that I bring to the table that maybe is a little different is I was a coach, as opposed to an administrator, being an athletic director. I've coached. I've been on both sides of the table, and I get a, kind of like peek behind the curtain now as an administrator and see how the hamburger's made, for lack of a better term.
Let's stay on that for a second. I taught at the University of Iowa a course of politics of sports in the Department of Recreation and Sports Management. In one class we talked about, sort of the traditional waves of athletic directors. We agreed that, that we were on the third wave. The first wave was, sort of what you think, the coach who then becomes the athletic director. Second wave were ones who were athletes, sort of like Debbie Al, Judy Rose, Mike Del Conte, and then they decided, they didn't want to go into coaching, they wanted to go into sports administration. It was a little more now. I think the third wave is now, you have the students who are sports and recreation managers who are coming in talking to you each week, and they're plotting it as a career. The question I wanted to ask you is, in the fourth wave, do you think you'll see esports athletes who want to be traditional athletic directors?
I think
at
your
school?
third wave, you got to add into their lawyers, marketing directors.
Every lawyer would love to be an athletic director. I am a lawyer, trust me on that
right.
one.
But if you look at the
But they don't have the background
field
that you're required. It's becoming so structured and so detailed, the background. Most lawyers are not going to have the background.
We're always looking for them to be involved in the athletic department because it's a liability and a risk management world. So the breadth of an athletic department is getting wider. We need more people with different skills to be a part of our athletics departments now. And I think the next wave is going to be definitely include esports, but I think we're going to go back to, a coaching background needed in athletics, because at the end of the day, your athletic director has got to be able to counsel and give advice to their head coaches to make their athletic programs better. And the farther we get away from the coach as the athletic director, the harder that is.
Sure.
And we're going to end up coming back to it.
Have any esports student athletes come to you yet and say, how do I pursue a career in college sports
Not
administration?
yet. Not yet. But we are currently, even as we speak, investigating adding an esports management program to our school.
That would be the first, wouldn't it?
That would be the first. I don't know if it would be the first. It would be one of the
Few,
very
that's for
first
sure.
and few. But we're trying to wrestle with, do we want it to be more on the business side, production, communications, gaming, game design, and how we wrap all that into one package, or do we have a couple different packages? And that will lead to the next generation of great esports administrators or athletic directors.
Now, in the city of Arlington, Texas, which is in the heart of football country, when they went to New York University and said, we want to hire you to recommend to us what next sports facility we should invest in, they came back and said esports. Did that surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. Look here. Look what we did. This is it. This is what's coming. Stereotypical old football meathead coach who's now an administrator, right? I mean, this is what is next. This is huge. People can fight it and say that it's this or that or not a sport or is a sport or whatever, but this is the future of competition, and it's going to happen whether people jump on board or not. We just decided to jump on board rather quickly on the front end of it.
Now, one of the owners of the Texas Rangers, he is a major investor in esports, and he says it's got 15% growth annually, and we see it continuing. What do you see with the growth in the future?
No doubt. I think it's going to continue to grow exponentially. And this is just computer-based games is esports. There's no organized console games yet. Your single sport or your single participant games like Fortnite and PUBG and some of these other ones aren't organized yet. You're going to see these individual games start to get organized. You're going to see console games with Madden, NBA 2K, and they're going to start getting organized, and it's going to grow this exponentially.
So let's sort of talk about the differences and similarities here. What's game day like for a football team here at Trine University?
And just like everywhere, you're going to get up, you're going to have breakfast, you're going to have a team meeting, you're going to get ready to go, you're going to get in the locker room, you're going to get dressed, and you're going to go to your game and strap on your helmet.
So what's game day like for an esports student athlete here?
You're going to get up, you're going to get dressed, or you're going to breakfast, you're going to get your uniform on, you're going to come down here, and you're going to click in and kick off your game with whoever it is you're playing.
Now, when I interviewed other athletic directors, it's always impressed me the amount of individual attention they give to their students. When I was at Lincoln University, I watched Harry Stinson, their athletic director, and he was counseling a father whose son was getting ready to go to Lincoln to play football, and his baby boy was leaving home. Now, his baby boy looked to be about 6'5", 320 pounds, but so what sort of direct relationships do you take with the student athletes here?
I just try to be a guy that's available. Mm-hmm. Some people want a differing level of relationship. I just want to be available. I'm at games, I'm at esports events. A lot of times we have a basketball game, we'll have the kids playing, we have the screen outside here up, and there'll be 10 or 15 or 20 people standing here watching our kids compete. I just want to be available and let them know that I'm around, that I'm interested in what they're doing, and I'm supporting what they're doing. And we can talk and hang out. Obviously, 18 to 22-year-old kids are way more interesting to talk to than my 46-year-old friends most of the time. So I like just hanging out with them.
Now, Heather, like the athletic director for the University of Pittsburgh, when I interviewed her, she said her favorite part of the job was taking someone else's child and ushering them through those crucial 4 years of going from being a teenager away from home
Sure.
for the first time for most of them to a young adult graduating with a college degree. What's your favorite part of being an athletic director?
I would say along those lines. I think it's, me and my coaching staff and the people at Trine University are going to be with your child more than you are for the next 4 years, mom and dad. So you've got to make sure you're putting them in a school that has the system and supports available to make your child have the best opportunity to be successful as they can. and we want to do that for the next 4 years, get them graduated, get them a great job, and let them be great.
And so what has the president of Trine University's reaction been to the eSports program? In only the second year, it seems to be remarkably successful.
He's all in on it as well. I mean, there's no decision that is made on this campus without all of us being involved in it, and he's the one that drives the bus. And this is something he's interested in. He's been a 100% backer, as you can see by this facility. Board of directors and our donors were very generous in providing the money for all of these new projects that we're doing over the last 8 or 10 years. And when we do something at Trine University, as you've seen as you walk around our campus, we do it first class, and we do it to be great, not to be good, not to catch up. We want to do something that is going to make us a leader and force people to catch up with us. And I really think we had an opportunity to do that here with our eSports program and some of the facilities.
What's it like being an athletic director at a D3 school and knowing that, when your coaches do well, your administrators do well, your players doing well, you just might be, training them for a Power 5 school? When I interviewed Derek Carter, the athletic director at Coppin State, he said that made him proud.
That's exactly right. That's what my job is. My job is to support my coaches, to make sure they have everything they need possibly to succeed, to pat them on the back and give them a hug when they succeed, and to support them when they make a decision to investigate something else and help them get it. If they've done everything that I've asked them to do at Trine University with whatever program it is, and they do that or exceed my expectations, why would I not want to help them continue and chase their dreams? Trine University athletic director is my dream. That doesn't have to be their dream. Their dream can be something else, and my job is to help them and support them and help them get to that next level.
So to prepare for this interview, I read a book about a small hockey town in Sweden, just being a tour to get the feel of small town colleges. And the legendary coach was retiring. He told his replacement, he said, a great hockey player is like a thoroughbred. It plays like the way the thoroughbred races, for the thrill of the race. The job of a coach is to get them to play for the team. How do you get that great player, that great administrator, that great coach to turn his efforts for the best of Trine University?
I think you got to create a culture around the group, especially when you bring a new person in. That is great. That has high expectations. That has open dialogue. That is transparent, where everybody knows what direction we are going as a department. And then you got to hire to that culture. I think people get a little
What do you look
backwards.
for when you hire?
A number one first class great person, because I can teach people how to coach. I can teach people how to do paperwork. I can teach people how to meet deadlines.
Could you teach someone how to coach eSports?
Yes, but also you're going to fill your pool with a group of people that have the required skill set, the requisite skills to lead whatever program you're doing. And then you're going to hire the best person out of that group.
So everyone knows how to create a successful football or basketball or hockey culture at a college. There's many, many examples for that at every level. How do you go about creating a successful e-sport culture at a college?
Because I hired our culture. Alex Goplin is our director of esports here. Great job. He's
How did
done
you
over
come
the
about
last 2
hiring
years.
him?
He played for football for me.
Oh, and
Was
so
an
now he
admissions
coaches
coordinator. Was an admissions
So now
coordinator.
he is your digital Deion Sanders.
Yep, and then we hired him to start our program. He is a great recruiter. We're going to recruit it just like we recruit our athletes. He was recruited by me as an athlete. He works in admissions. He recruits people to our university all the time. He's a gamer, like all kids, or all, not kids now, but for me, he's a kid. But like all younger people, they're gamers. He had some experience, not all the expertise, but he knew what our Trine thing was. He knows our Trine culture. He knows how we do things. And he's gotten better, become a better gamer and a better leader and a better director and a better person to lead this program in year 2 than he was last year. All I want is people that want to get better at what they're doing. We brought in some people that have a little greater expertise in some certain games that we need help with, and that's exactly what I do. I'm an offensive guy, so I brought in a guy that knows how to coach defense. It's the same exact thing. We are not treating this model any different than anything else in our athletic department.
Do the esports student athletes realize that? A lot of them probably think, if you go to college, the football team's going to dominate. After all, 70% of sports revenues are from the football
Sure.
team. But it's obviously, you've got a level playing field for every sport, even esports. Do they realize that right away, or even when they're being recruited?
I think they realize it once they get here. When they're recruited, you know how it is. I mean, facilities
Sure.
get kids. This facility.
What's their expression when they see this facility?
They're really, really excited. I mean, you seen anything like this?
No, this is very impressive.
So, but
I will say the passion I've seen from every athletic director has been very impressive. This esports facilities, this takes it up to the next level.
we're committed. We're committed to esports, and we're committed to making sure our student athletes have an opportunity and a playing field that we provide for them that will give them the opportunity to be successful.
So just
But it's no different. But it's no different than football. These kids come in and they have a staff meeting or a team meeting with their coach where they talk about the game plan. They review film from the game before. They review practice film. They look at their opponent's practice film or game film, and they create a strategy, and then they go play their game. It's no different than what we did, Alex and I, when we were coaching and playing football with each other.
Let's use that for the last question. Will Rogers once said, "Every man I met was my greatest teacher," meaning you can learn something from everyone. What can an esports student athlete learn from a football player? And what can a football player learn from an esports student athlete? And the same thing with your women's basketball players. What can a traditional student athlete, male or female, learn from an esports student athlete, male or female?
Discipline, attention to detail, and process. Right? Is that any different than any other team? Then why would we want it any different for our esports team or a basketball team, men or women? Why would we want it any different? Those are the things that make teams great, okay, that you have to do behind the scenes. And greatness is greatness. So why would you change the model, period, in one, just because it's esports or something else? Great is great.
And can you see the esports student athletes buying into that greatness?
They already have. You know, we have 80 of them now. In year 2, we've had some great success with our teams last year, and I expect us to continue those things, because if we do something, we want to win. And we don't want to win some of the time, we want to win all the time.
I think that winning is the Trine University way. Thank you so much for your time, Coach
Thank you.
Lynn.
I appreciate it.
This is Jonathan Yates with the Culture of Sports. Thank you for joining us, and may the esports be with you.